Congratulations. So you're down 17 with 2:37 to play in the first half. You get it down to 10 by halftime. What was the message in the locker room at the half? Was there an adjustment? How'd you guys get things turned around and come back and win this thing tonight?
What did the deficit get in the second half? Do you guys know off the top or not?
I can look real quick.
I didn't think that big a deal. Felt like a lot more than it probably was, but it felt like a lot.
17 again.
Yeah.
17 twice. Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone that, follows this daily or game, like we just weren't playing very well. And there was some fired up huddles from me to them. We had great energy in practice yesterday and shoot around like, wow. In pregame, it's Coach Williams knows that isn't a predictor very often, but then we came out and I just thought we were flat. Like I really thought we were flat. And listen, we're not an excuse type of program, but like you play at sea level and you go to altitude, it makes a difference. It really does. And we try to do what we could to minimize it as best we could. And the research always says, like, get to the last 10 minutes of the game, and then everybody's been both tired and it kind of wears off if you can get to that point. So we subbed pretty liberally in the first half to try to be able to do that. But certainly that's not what we were talking about at halftime or any of those huddles. I just didn't – there was a couple possessions I was just like – I couldn't believe that we didn't compete better. Like that, the compete part was kind of making me upset, if you will. And so we had some spirited timeouts, and then for whatever reason, we got a break or two, and the ball bounced our way, and then their confidence kind of came back, and you could see it from where I stood. They felt they were playing better, they were playing harder, they were competing more, and they figured out a way. We threw the kitchen sink at them defensively there in the last, 12, 14 minutes of the game, and played probably more zone than I've ever played in that time span. I don't know if we've ever played that many possessions of zone in 12, 14 minutes, but they did a pretty good job in it.
You talked about the altitude maybe making a difference, and it certainly does. What about the long travel day yesterday? Neil and I both talked about it. We were flat early in the game, there's no question.
We were.
What about the long travel day? Did that have any effect, or do you think it does? Or you don't know?
I don't know, but I was kicking myself, to be honest with you, that we didn't come earlier, not during the game, but the day that we were leaving, I'm like, wow, it's a much longer flight than anticipated. Certainly I know the itineraries when we make them, but you get caught up in a lot of other things, and then you get to that, you're like, oh boy, like it's going to be long. But I don't know. I don't know why. If I knew why, like always, like I fix it. But I don't know why. But I would imagine it was a combination of things. The altitude, the travel, waiting around all day long, playing in an NBA arena. I don't know. But fortunately for us Bulldogs, they turned the tide.
Second half scored 50 points. Neil talked about, you changed the second half. What did you change anything offensively in the second half, other than just get the ball to Jabari McGee more?
Yeah, we ran a lot of stuff for him. And and this happens, right? He was sick. He'd been sick for a couple days, and some body soreness, and wasn't participating full possessions in practice and even in shoot around, so who knows? I mean, he was coughing all day long, and we were trying to, get as much fluids in him as we could. And then he went out there, and, the guys were messing with him, talking about the flu game, because, apparently this is where Jordan had his flu game in this arena.
That's right here. Yeah.
Some of the assistant coaches were behind the scenes, urging him on before the game, and certainly he played a big part in it. And I thought what happened equally was we started turning them over. We finally scored off our defense, which it's been a long time. We forced 14 turnovers, and I'm not sure exactly how many in the first or the second half, but I just felt like we got more hands-on basketballs this particular game than most of the earlier games, and we finally had some run-outs, and we got some, turning D into offense, which is what we like to do, and I thought that really helped our offense.
It seems to me like with Epps and Hubbard coming off the high ball screens, and we know everybody's double teaming Josh now, or hard hedging him, making him try to play out of that double team. They're doing that to Epps now. It looks to me like that doesn't bother Jabari McGee as much. He comes off that double team and attacks that big guy. Do you see that?
Yeah, well, he's built a little bit different than those two. He's obviously much stronger and carries more weight, and he's kind of an aggressive guy, and he's bigger, he's taller, and so he can see over the defense a little bit that way. But we rode that 3-guard lineup for for a long, long time. You know, we probably played those three guys together more than we have all year long. But you know, we got it going. We played small ball a lot. You know, we had Sean Jones at the 4, which we haven't had a lot, and then certainly Jamar was playing a lot of 5. Him and Quincy and Brandon Walker a little bit. So I really liked how they fell into rhythm defensively, though. You know, we ran a 1-3-1 for the first time, you know, all season, and we just put it in a couple days ago. We'd run it in the past, and when we were down the way we were, I'm like, okay, we got to give it a shot. I mean, we got to muck this game up and, you know, see if we can get them out of the rhythm a little bit. And fortunately, it worked some.
Well, now you got a happy plane ride home, and I know it's a long, long flight back.
I got good news.
Yes, sir.
Well, you're not on this one, are you?
No.
Yeah, it's an hour shorter than the way here because we got a tailwind. So that was the big news I shared with the players.
Here's the good news I've got is whatever Japanese breakfast tastes like, whatever we're getting handed here in a moment, that's what it's going to be like at 3:30 in the morning for me.
Wow. Neil has an early flight.
No, you're good. You're good. Listen, but here's the deal. It makes that flight, however long it is or short it is, it makes it much happier tonight with a big comeback win. I mean, 17 twice in the game, and you come back and win it here tonight, and you get to turn around and try again against Long Island on Tuesday night. So not a lot of time to celebrate it because you got to get ready for another game, right?
No, but we needed it. We needed it. And, yeah, if I'm being honest, I feel like I say that too much, but it didn't feel great, you know, for the first half and then a lot of the second. Like, you know, really, this is how we're going to do this? Like, we're not going to leave everything on the floor. And we had some pointed timeouts, and you can talk all you want to your blue in the face. They got to do it. They got to play with that enthusiasm and that vigor and that vitality and that togetherness. And hopefully, you know, this is something when you win, you know how it is, Coach. Like you get a big win on the road, and it's a comeback variety. Like, you know, it can bond you a little bit better. And we got 2 more games before we have the break, and they're both at home, and so we're going to be looking forward to playing at home for sure.
Congratulations! Thank you again for making the long trip up here.
It was Billy Goat status. That was a long way
it's
up
a
here.
Long way.
Yeah.
It's a long way.
Climbing over chairs. We saw you doing that to get here.
I had a bunch of people here I had to say hello to, but anyway, all right. Appreciate you, Hill State.
That's Chris.
Thanks, Coach.